Today I'm going to talk about the best training split for strength and conditioning for Jiu-Jitsu and why I think this is better than just about anything else. Selecting your training split is going to be a really key part of organising your Jiu-Jitsu strength and conditioning program, because your key lifts are the part of your training that you are going to get the most from. And realistically, that's the most important thing I often find that we're going to talk about, is because we got to be efficient with our time in the gym. We often don't have a huge amount of time, so let's be really efficient with the time that we do have. So without further ado, what I think the best split for Jiu-Jitsu athletes without a doubt is going to be mixed sessions, 2 to 3 days a week, upper focus, lower focus. I think this is the best way that you can organise your training, that you can take advantage of the down periods in the week where you can get some harder strength and conditioning in versus lower Jiu-Jitsu volume. And you can also preference both upper work and lower work, so each gets the attention that it needs in the week, in a sense, to progressively move the training forward in time. Because if we don't address each of those variables correctly, we will lag behind in our training and we just won't see progress. So I'm a big fan of organising training in these 2 mixed sessions a week, because that also lets us get our full body sessions in, which means that we're going to target all major muscle groups and we're not going to leave anything behind. When we're only training 2, maybe 3 days a week, it's vital that we cover everything and we don't miss anything. So if lower focus, upper focus, mixed sessions is the name of the game, what are some of my favorite lifts to put in on those sessions? Well, when it comes to knee bends, squats, my favorite lifts have to be Zercher squats, Zercher split squats, and really any style of squat that the athlete likes that lets them overload it efficiently. I say Zercher squats and Zercher split squats because I'm a big fan of the Zercher position. It's really effective for training for combat sports. But really, any knee bend, any nice squat that the athlete is comfortable to get into, be it a front squat, a back squat, a hack squat, no matter what it is, if they can comfortably get themselves into that position, they can produce lots of knee flexion, lots of quad activation in that position. Great. Some other notable examples that I really like and have programmed for people in the past would be the hand supported split squat. I'm a big fan of hand supported split squats because it's actually a really safe movement for athletes to perform. As a coach, I feel very safe when an athlete is performing this movement. They're very locked in with the bar and the rack. There's not a lot of whole things that can go wrong, particularly if you have a coach kind of watching them and standing by. And this can be a really nice way to overload the leg in a single leg knee flexion. So shout out to Cal Dietz for his triphasic method and doing absolutely mental shit with his athletes. Okay, the other lifts that we're going to be doing on our lower focus day are going to be our RDLs, or our hinging work. We're going to split this work up, by the way, so we're not going to have a heavy squat and a heavy hinge on the same day. That would be a really bad way of programming, so we're going to have to split these things up. Oftentimes, we're not even going to be training heavy squats and heavy deadlifts in the week, but we might be dealing with these in different training blocks at a time. Really, that can just be a factor whether we're looking to develop more posterior and hamstring strength, or we're looking to develop more anterior quad strength. So when it comes to our hinging movements, my favorite's going to be RDL. I really like hip thrusts as well, but RDL is going to be a fundamental one. We can look at that in a couple of different ways as well. Really like Zercher RDLs as well as Zercher split stance RDLs, and the split stance RDL in particular can be a really nice way of getting work local around one hamstring and one hip joint at a time. We can also extrapolate these movements and move them towards more of a lower back focus, where we can look at doing some split stance good mornings, and I also like to do seated and different good morning variations with my athletes as well. A special note in this section for good mornings and Jefferson curls. Jiu-Jitsu is a sport that's going to have a huge amount of load going through your lower back, and one thing that can really diminish athletes here is psychological limitations. Alright, if you're watching the video and you're thinking, yeah man, that's great, but if you could just give me all of this in a program, that would be really good. I've got you sorted. If you go to the link below, you're going to find the Ultimate Training Week, where I've put all of this into an actual training program that you can just go to the gym and do. It'd be easier, wouldn't it? And you can get that at the link below. There's videos for all of the exercises, so it's really clear on what you can do. You can get stuck into that straight away. Okay, back to the video. People can be really worried about their lower back, so I think there's definitely room in the gym to put athletes into positions such as Zercher RDLs, for argument's sake, which is going to have the athlete go to a really, really big range of motion, or Jefferson curl, really similar movement, it's going to have us go through a big range of motion, and it's going to get the athlete into a lot of lumbar flexion. When we get the athletes into a lot of lumbar flexion, then particularly we go heavy with this and we make them do lumbar flexion with their body weight, say in a Jefferson curl, well, then they get way more psychologically comfort with that region, and I think that's just something to note when it comes to RDL, hinge work, lower back work. That's just something to consider all in that pie. When it comes to our key lift uppers, big fan for pressing, we're going to go bench press and we're going to go overhead press. Pull movements being a really key fundamental part of training for Jiu-Jitsu, because it's a much more pull than press dominated sport. So we're going to have to pay some particular attention to the different pull movements that we select, the tissue groups that we're training, and the different musculature that we're aiming to hit. Some of the movements there that I really like are pull-ups. Pull-ups are such a win on this. Like, if you can get a Jiu-Jitsu athlete really strong at pull-ups, you're going to solve a lot of the problems along the way. Alongside that, I'm a big fan of seal rows as an opportunity to overload in a horizontal position. And so that is your key lift. Select some of those. You're going to have an upper focus day, you're going to have a lower focus day, and you're going to have to figure out where they go in your week. It's a really nice, easy way to organize your training, and it ensures that you still get all of your boxes ticked. But you're not going to get all of your boxes ticked with just your warm-up and your key lifts. You're going to need accessory lifts, you're going to need robustness work, and you're going to need conditioning work to flesh out that program properly. And I'm going to show you how to select your accessory lifts and select the right lifts for Jiu Jitsu in the next video. So get on over and check that one out.